Right, welcome guys, welcome. We're going to be playing some Combat Mission Cold War with the new British on the Rhine. What is it called? British Forces on the... what the hell is it? British Army of the Rhine. There we are, British Army of the Rhine DLC. So it's a bit of a first look at that one, sort of see how it does go. And I thought I didn't realise it was actually on special. I haven't watched all of the Home of Wargaming event that was on yesterday. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through it. But I know that they did actually launch this one. It's a bit of a surprise launch yesterday on their stream. So Combat Mission, I really enjoy this game a lot. This is an incredible simulation game, combat simulation. Hi, Villadak, how you going? Yeah, hope everyone's doing well. But this is, just the what Combat Mission does is, and if you had to watch the Home of Wargaming event on Slytherin channel yesterday, you would have sort of seen the approach that the devs actually have with the Combat Mission games, and it's really incredible actually what they actually end up doing. And the Combat Mission engine is actually used professionally for NATO forces and things like that to help try to train officers in what's likely to happen in battlefield scenarios, which is, again, it's sort of staggering that we get access to this stuff to play with it ourselves. Anyway, it's funny because I look at the reviews, only 60%. I'm thinking, what? Like, this is a really, really good game. I would have thought it would have been up around the sort of, at least a 75, somewhere up around there. I understand this is not for everyone, this particular game, and it's fairly brutally difficult as well, to be honest. But we'll have a look at that. You can see there, developer Battlefront, Matrix Games is the publisher. Battlefront is basically now taken over by Slytherin, so Slytherin Games is now the essentially running the development team. But from what they were saying yesterday, which is great to hear, that they've actually been able to keep their core group all together, working on the actual game itself, and Slytherin's just sort of adding other support in around what they're doing. So I do have some hopes for the game. The game is not a pretty user experience at all. So we're talking negatives. But it is 50% off at the moment, the base game. I don't know what the DLC is. Even that looks like it may be... Oh no, that's full price. This is Australian dollars, $50 here for the British Army of the Rhine. I would say if you like what you see today, grab the base game. And at least unless you do want to sort of spend full whack, they do actually have the whole lot. We might even have a look at that bundle. Let's have a look and see if we can get to it. And is it just going to do one at a time? Yeah, it's only going to do one at a time. There's that's basically 50% off as well. Actually, there's bundle info there. I hadn't looked at this. I just looking at this one now. So what you've got there is Shock Force 2. These are and Black Sea. These are fairly modern in their approach. So you've got these are sort of like modern forces. That's good value. Actually, that is good value. It's interesting because Black Sea is sort of like around the Ukraine area. I remember at the time I was sort of playing a lot of these Black Sea games, and then all of a sudden the war in the Ukraine just sort of broke out, and it was so. I sort of, just out of respect for it being a modern theatre and it's sort of directly doing it, I sort of didn't really play it at that point because it seemed like it was being frivolous with a very, very serious situation. Then going back through the Cold War, this one sort of takes us back into the around 1980, like 79 to 82, I think, back in through there. What do these rate? It's very positive. So this one here rates is very positive. So 60% off there. That's actually good. That's a good one there. Shock Force 2, very positive again as well. So Cold War is the one that sort of has really got a lot less reviews. I don't understand why. Like, it's the same engine underneath it with just different sorts of forces. I should actually read to see what's going on there. Then you've got like all your World War II type stuff, which is then sort of themed. Battle for Normandy at 60% off. This is mostly positive, so about the same sort of level that we're sort of seeing for the Cold War, I guess. I really like this one. I've got to say, these World War II ones are probably my favourites of all of the Combat Mission games. Red Thunder in through there as well, very positive, but only 63 reviews. That one's fairly recent. Fortress Italy, again positive, but only a small number of reviews. Final Blitzkrieg is only 20% off, so I'm guessing that's because it's relatively new. Then we've got Beyond Overlord. This is, are these DLCs? Are these actual games? Oh, these might be the actual games. Yeah, so there's hardly any reviews for these. I think these are old. Yeah, these would be the old games. Yeah, Combat Mission Africa Core, etc. Actually, that one's released. It says it's released now. Oh, you know what that is? That's his old games from the Battlefront stable that have actually now come through. So they're very, very cheap. So Combat Mission 3. Then we've got Combat Mission 1, 2, and 3. The thing with this, and I don't have these, I don't think. I would be interested in these, like to play them. But these I don't think are going to be all that modern. Just looking at the the way that it's been done, this is not. It's similar, but it's like I'll show you actually the key to playing these sort of these missions or these games. Actually, it sort of half looks like it would be, but it looks a bit clunky. Yeah, I don't think I think the modelling in that is probably. Hopefully they come back and revisit these and bring the engine up, because what they've been doing is they've been bringing old games up and sort of developing them. I might even just sort of do a bit of a deviation. Oh, by the way, sorry guys, I normally, like this is normally Fortress Friday, where I'm doing sort of Dwarf Fortress, but this whole week has been thrown out, so I thought I'll just throw it out even further. So I'm not going to be doing a Dwarf Fortress game today. Today is grand final day here in Australia, so it's sort of like a big day. So so I'll be basically playing like for about 3 hours, and then I'll be gone for the day. Like just doing all sorts of grand finally things. Just to put that into context, if you sort of this probably doesn't really interest very many of you at all. I'll just go to afl.com.au. afl.com.au. This is essentially this is going to be the it's on today, the grand final, which is Brisbane, which is sort of one of I have two teams that I support. I support Collingwood and Brisbane, and I support them about equally now. I was a Collingwood supporter, but Brisbane is sort of like almost like our local team here, where I live, and so it's now between Brisbane and Geelong. They're the two that made it through to the grand final. So it's a big day in sport anyway. So 10 hours and 49 minutes until the Cats versus the Lions. So anyway, all of us collectively are going for the Lions today. So we're hoping that they win. It should be a really good game. Like they've incredible teams, both teams. So. Just amazing. Last year the Lions won as like they won the premiership as well. Like the grand final is the last game, essentially with the best teams that sort of make it. All right. So anyway, let's go back into this one again. So there. So I want like this week is a special week. But anyway. So Luigi is saying, I tried some of these games for their price. These are the worst gaming experiences you can buy. There we go. There is nothing in these games that has aged well or doesn't feel ultra outdated. Let me talk about that. Don't fall for it, says Luigi. Qwerty40 is saying the Matrix games. I think he means the Combat Mission Collection. And look, I welcome these sort of comments, to be honest, because I think that if after I'll talk about what to look for with these games as to why the other games are sort of probably so cheap, like at the bottom here, because these are old engines. But what they've done is, like, the Battle for Normandy is actually an old game, but has been re-released in 2023, and I can even sort of show. I wish I had these old ones that I could sort of show what they're like. But I'm pretty sure Battle for Normandy was actually in this sort of era, in this Beyond Overlord type era, which is like really old. And the way that they work it, the way that Battlefront sort of has been working the actual the games, and I might just sort of leave that one on there. You can see there the graphics on this are really shitty, but good for 25 years ago. It's sort of what they are. So if you sort of look at the actual at the graphics that they actually have through this particular side, that's essentially what we have. We have a situation where these are games that were developed a long time ago. Maybe even 30 years ago. Would it be that long ago? I don't know when these were actually sort of then done. I don't know if it'll even tell us what the version number is of the engine driving it. I don't think it will, and that's the critical thing when you're looking at these. So okay, so underscore saying love your stream, but you need to fix whatever the hell is happening because I'm getting loading every other second at source quality, and I never get this any other stream. I don't know what that would be. I'm not getting any drop frames. I've got really healthy kilobits per second upload time. I don't know what that is, sorry. I've got no idea. All I can suggest is maybe to go to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. That may be everything. Yeah, Mr. Worth saying everything good here. Yeah, it's... Well, I forget who it was. Somebody actually did have a problem with it the other day, and they found out it was actually at their end. So I don't know what to tell you, but I'm guessing part of it would be that the Twitch is probably is sort of sending it straight through to Sydney here in Australia, and then sort of doing things from there. I'm pretty sure that's the server that I'm streaming up to with Twitch. So I don't think there's any. So I don't think it's the actual stream at my end. I think it's somewhere along the pipe. Is all I can really think of. Otherwise, everyone would have it, and yeah. So I don't know what the answer is there. Undersquirrel. Sorry about that. Yep. So Villavex saying stream quality is good for me. Set quality to auto might help. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is in Twitch. The quality I've actually upped the quality of the streams some months ago now to get more, to allow the kilobits per second to go. I was only used to stream at I think 2,500. I now stream at 6,000. So I've sort of almost tripled the quality of the the upstream. So I'm not sure what else I can do with that. And that was a fair few months ago now. Anyway, let's go in and play the game, or play some of the games, and I'll show you what I mean. Like if I go to Beyond Overlord, which is, where is that one? That's Battle for Normandy. If I just open this game up, let's have a bit of a look at it, and I'll explain that some of the things that are clunky in the games, and some of the things that I think are pretty cool. So this is, you can see it's Battlefront and Matrix. When they sort of, with the combination of the two forces, we end up with the remade games. And so these are oldish games that have been rejigged for a new thing. So what we're looking through here is the game engine. We're looking for game engine 4. It's a bit hard to see it there. The funny thing is we've still got callbacks to the old stuff, like the size of this screen, for example. This is what from way back. But the game engine is the key to sort of making sure that that you are sort of playing at a game that you are going to enjoy. So it's sort of that, like if you see the game engine there, then that's like as I said before, that's going to be really what's going to dictate what does go on in the game. So even though these were old games, like if I go into the battles, there's going to be heaps and heaps of different battles that you can then go and play out in through here, like pages and pages of it to play sort of ready-made battles. You can actually download different battles that people have done as well. Because there is actually a very active group of people who do play the game. I haven't played this for a while, so I won't play that one. We will go back to the Cold War one, which has got the new DLC, and I haven't actually played this one at all. But what you'll find with all of these is essentially they've got as long as you've got Game Engine 4, you're actually at least you're playing a modern version of the game. So again, I really hope at some point that they address the user experience of the game itself. It's pretty bad. So I've got to say that's the biggest negative. But what the game models and what it does is I don't think there's any other game that does it as well. So so when you actually have a look at it, again, this is version 1.1 of Steam, Game Engine 4. So they're all going to have this Game Engine 4, and then you sort of see now we'll start to sort of see copyright 2025 Slytherin software rather than the Battlefront. Battlefront is still there, but essentially Slytherin is now taking over the running of the development, which from what the Battlefront guys are sort of saying on the when they were interviewed or presenting this yesterday. It was pretty interesting to actually hear just how well that's actually sort of worked for them, because Slytherin also has like another whole other arm to what they do, which is sort of almost like training for actual military forces. So they end up using these different sorts of games and readapt them to make them sort of work for NATO forces, for example. So anyway, let's different ways we can play this. Now, options, this is where, again, I really hope that they look at this and we end up with a Game Engine 5 or something. And we end up with full screen stuff in here. The game itself is fine, but the actual lead into it is just terrible user interface and user experience. Options, you'll sort of see through here, sound is only either on or off. There's no scale to the sound, so that's a big problem. Music is on or off as well, so you don't get a chance to really tweak these at all. Display sizes, desktop, I'm just playing it on the desktop. You do have like sort of like different sorts of quality things, but there's not a real lot of stuff that you can do in here. The controls, it's easier to see this from in-game, so don't bother doing that one from out here unless you want to remap things, which I wouldn't recommend. And even in advanced, advanced is just tree detail is high or shaders on. You sort of think, oh, okay, advanced is going to have all sorts of stuff we can tweak. No, it doesn't. So it's pretty crappy in terms of Vilivek is saying the UX experience is very nostalgic. Yes, it is. It is indeed. It's really bad actually. So it's yes, and again the size. I don't know. Hopefully at some point somebody in that development studio will actually put a UX proposal together that they'll then embrace and fix all this stuff. It's sort of funny because I think that their focus is on the next bit and not this bit, and so they've made it difficult to when you first start playing you think, what the hell is this, like is as what Luigi was saying basically. It's sort of the experience is bad, like the user experience is bad in this game, except for when you get into the actual game itself and know what's going on. So if we just go and I'll just go and click on OK, and we have then a few different things that we can then go and do. You can actually sort of play this one, a network game, and also play by email. So you can sort of play through the Slytherin system to actually play against other players. You do have a scenario editor where you can sort of go and chop and change things. It's fairly involved to make a map for this game. There's random maps. There's random battles, but not random maps. So there's like whatever the collection of maps is that you have. It will create a random battle out of an existing map, which is fine. It works in this game, particularly once you start to pick up DLCs, because you end up with all these other new maps that they can then make use of for the actual combat itself. So battle is to go and choose from an actual battle in their big long list of maps essentially that they've actually got through there. Now the forces that we end up having in this particular one, and I haven't played with either one of these, is the British forces and the Canadian forces. So they're the two new ones that have been added into this particular DLC. So this is the British Forces of the Rhine, I think is the name of the DLC. Anyway, let's cancel out of that one. I tend to like to choose Quick Battle, which we'll come back to. Campaign has also then got, now you can see British Army of the Rhine, BAOR. So we've got Charge of the Light Division. So this will be the 4th Canadian Mechanised Brigade Group, must stop a Russian divisional advance. And this is on a huge map. And so the scope of the game can be really broad, which means that's too big for me to be able to stream. Like I just can't do these sorts of things. And then this will be over a series of different progressions. It can be the same map as well, actually, just with what actually happens, from phase to phase of the actual campaigns themselves. This one here is the 1st Armoured Division's Task Force Bravo fights the STEM advance of 47 Guards Tank Division. Oh, there was also new stuff put into the Soviets as well, by the way, with this DLC. Lost Company, Rough Riders. Lost Company must fight its way back to its own line. That's the same again there as well. These are only medium what are these? It's medium, it's large. And we go back to US campaigns in through here. So the US is the base game is US based. There's a training in the desert. These are pretty fun actually to play, to be honest. I have played, I think I've played that one because it was smallish. Anyway, there's not very many campaigns, but they're sort of like a more extended sort of playthrough where you've got to then protect your forces as much as you can for the next battle, etc., which is pretty cool. Anyway, we're just going to play a quick battle, and we'll just get into this one through here. So again, the mix of what we sort of see through here actually sort of works, but it just could be better the way it sort of is actually presented. So battle type, you do actually have like between meeting engagements, probes, attacks, and assaults. Depending on what type of attack you actually have, you will the enemy forces will then have different points to then sort of go and spend. So if it's a for example a meeting engagement, the points that you have to spend will be identical. If it's an attack or an assault, the defending forces will have a lot less points to spend because they'll be dug in, and so it's much more difficult to dislodge them. So what we'll do is we'll just play random battle type, random battle size. Has a lot to do with your points that you end up having. The length of battle 45 minutes. That should be okay. That's usually about right. That's not 45 minutes from the time we start playing. It's going to be. They can be over in 10 minutes. Or they can run right out depending on how you approach the battle. Map selection automatic. Now you can actually go and choose the maps, and these will be the maps again that have come in with the game. So you've got like they won't be anything that's generated. Map size small. You've got like from tiny, small, medium, large, huge, and random. Small I find comfortable for these sorts of little sessions. So I mean, if we go even to actually, I'll leave it on that. That's okay. The environment is essentially we've got like cities, towns, depending on the number of maps that you have. And if you've got one of the versions of the game with all of the DLC, you're going to have like a lot of maps to choose from. But you can actually sort of then just go through. These are the different types of, I guess the main features of the map that they're going to be playing on. So there's a lot of different ways to sort of look at that one through there. Region, you've either got Germany or the National Training Centre. So we'll just go back to Germany. The National Training Centre is purely in the desert in the USA. The service that we've got is we've got US Forces, Soviet Army, British Army, Canadian, Soviet Airborne, Random, or Random Blue, Random Red. Random Blue is essentially the US, British, and Canadian forces combined, and Random Red will be the Soviet Airborne and Soviet Army combined. So that's sort of what we end up having through there. But let's choose the British Army. I'm sort of tempted to choose the Canadians. The way it works is the British Army will be using their own equipment, like British equipment. The Canadian Army, I think, uses German equipment. So you've got the Leopard tanks and things like this, and that's in this era. I know that aspect of it because the Australian forces also used the Leopard tanks in the 1970s and 80s. So they don't anymore, but they were back in that era. That's their main battle tanks. So I'll go British Army just because we're going to be using Chieftain tanks. So that'll be the way it goes. Incognito saying, "Wait, the dwarves joined the British Army." Yes. So anyway, that's so we'll go British Army in this case. Against the Soviet Army, that looks okay. Now, the combat force is an important decision that you then make, and this will essentially then lead to what you end up having. So if we go to, we've got infantry only, we've got armoured infantry, armoured or airborne infantry, or a mix. Now, if you choose mix, you can essentially pick from any of the other forces. But if you do that, you can't then switch around and play it from the other side, I don't think, because I think the AI has trouble. I think with mix you have to choose the actual force. I don't think you can leave the AI to do the mix. I think that's the way it worked. If I go mix there and go to mix here, actually, what have we got there? Infantry, mech, infantry, armoured. I might just go armoured infantry, I think. Give ourselves some limitations. I mean, if I go to, you'll see there that's the purchase. If I go to mix here, no, it's still allowing it there. I'll just go random for their side. And I'll go armoured infantry, I think. Let's do that one for our side. So we'll just sort of, that way we've got limitations to what we can then choose from. Electronic warfare strength, I'll leave that on none. Unit purchase, I'll have that as so I can actually tweak what's happening there. I'll show you a few little things you can do with that one as well. Map preview, I will allow the preview and the forces adjustment. You can actually, if you're struggling with the game, but you like the difficulty level of the actual combat, for example, you can then choose to see what sort of, like whether you get less or more points. So, so you can sort of tweak that as well. That's all we need to then go and do. That's all fine. Then we've got the year, 1979, month. So this will then change the order of battle, like the actual units you've got selected will then change depending on the year that you then choose. I'll just keep it in the middle there. That'll be okay. The month will then change the terrain as well. So October, I guess that's just coming into autumn in Europe. So that's going to sort of affect what happens underneath. Daylight random, weather random, ground condition random, and rarity. This one you may want to play with a little bit. So standard is a little bit loose. I'll explain that. I'll just go with that one there, standard. Strict means that you don't get to play with any special units, whereas standard you get a little bit to play with. Loose means you got a lot more points to play with sort of interesting units, and none means there's no restriction on the rarity of the units. I'll hopefully there'll be some examples we can have a look at with that as well. It's been a long time since I've played this, but it's also starting to sort of come back. Right, so that's essentially what we'll then go in with the battle generator. So we'll just go in, click on OK, and we're going to choose the blue force, which is going to be essentially the British forces. You can actually have British versus Canadian or British versus British, whatever you want to do. Now, there's different ways of playing the game. So it's going to be a one-player turn-based game, but I've got like a whole lot of different things. I've got one-player real-time and one-player turn-based. The turn-based is a we-go system, and so what that means is you give your orders, and then the game runs out for a minute, and you don't have any control over the forces. It's actually a really fun way to play the game, and it's also the original way of playing the game. So I tend to default to that one. Real-time means you can pause at any time, give orders, and then just continue on from there. So there's by playing it turn-based, it feels like you're giving orders that you then have to. Where the units will then just do what they're going to do within that minute, and then you've got to sort of hope that they did what you want them to do. Then you've got two-player different things down through here as well, including hot seat. So you've got a lot of different ways of playing the game. Anyway, we're just going to leave that one there. So one-player turn-based. I'm just going to keep the skill level there on warrior, which is sort of like in around the middle here. Actually, I'll go back to veteran, just because I haven't played for a while. The game can be brutally difficult once you start to sort of get up into the higher levels. So I'll just keep it on veteran. That way it'll be a little bit more forgiving with the way things actually do work. So we'll just go and click on OK. Now we have now we don't actually know what type of attack we've got going on here. So we know that it's going to be, I don't think we'll be defending, so just looking at the points that we actually have through here. But if we go into the map preview, we'll just sort of see what we're actually dealing with. That way we can choose our forces to suit the map. Now the AI doesn't get this option, like it just has to choose what it's going to choose. And so this is the map. If I start to sort of zoom up, we can then sort of see different things. Oh, it looks like we've got a town. A town is going to be the feature. I can sort of use the map a little bit here to have a bit of a look around. It looks like we're going to be sort of, it's a biggish map actually. And then these are the victory points. So we're going to need to get across all of these different areas. This is going to be an interesting fight, actually, very interesting. There's if I press the number keys, I can go from looking, from high distance at what's going on. Looks like that's actually spawn points there. So if I just sort of rotate the map around a little bit, it may be that we're coming in this side, which means that we're attacking the town through this tree line. Let's just go and press number 5 and have a bit of a look. So again, the map, getting an idea of what's happening with the map can be extremely useful. If we're coming in on from these two flanks, which is what that is looking like, we're going to be hitting like a ridge line, and then we have to then deal with the with what's going to happen through the ridge line. There's a road through there, and there's like a culvert that runs through. All of this terrain is really, really important. Let's get down to number one and just have a look and see. So number one is sort of like at the level of a troop. So like a foot soldier would sort of be able to sort of, so where you've got this big long road, there is a dip in the road there, and then it comes back up along through here. So we didn't have a bit of a look. This one, there's no real protection anywhere along this road. There are there's some damage that's been done on the map, but that's actually very, very flat once we get to there. Let's have a look and see from our spawn location what we end up having. So if we have a look from over this other side, so we'd be spawning in here, and then we've got this forest in front of us, and I can just press the Q and E keys to just move around there a little bit, and we'll just have a look back up through here. So fairly thick. Now I've pressed number one. Number two is sort of like usually from the top of a vehicle. So if we have a bit of a look at and see what happens, we get to this ridge line. We're still actually in the trees at this point in time, and then we've got like a big, we've got a wall there which is going to sort of stop any visuals. We do have this little ridge line that runs along there, which is not too bad, and then we've still got to then we've got to sort of make our way through that location there. So that's sort of cut off. From the other side, if we go back to the other, so just getting a bit of a feel for what we want to do with our forces. Let's just move back around and just look through this one. So we've got tree line here again as well. From here, it's a lot more open. So we've got a closed in area. It's a bus stop, is it? It is too. Wow. There's bus stop. There we are. So we do have a good ridge line there with a good vision across the map. Largely, looks like it's a cloudy day with what's going on, and then then we somehow have to sort of get our way into these areas, and then we have to sort of make our way through each of them one after the other. Once we get into these locations, it's then going to be sort of like street fighting. The units will have to go through doors to get into buildings. Getting inside a building will then sort of allow, if we just go back through here, this has all been bombed out a little bit into this other side as well. So this here is going to be a little bit more difficult, to sort of break our way through. But this edge of town has been damaged in the fighting, and then we've just got like different areas around there to the back end of the map. Now, I don't know if this is a meeting engagement or what it actually is, but if it's a meeting engagement, it's going to be rushing to try to get into position. If it's a defensive one, where we're actually either probing or assaulting or attacking, they're going to be dug in the town, and that's so we then have to sort of dislodge them unit by unit. So let's just get back out of it. We'll just press escape and get ready to sort of choose our forces. So what we'll then go and do, hi Scatic, how you going? We can press, we've got suggestions, and suggestions are pretty cool, because what they then do is they then go and bring in the various forces that you've then got access to. Now, you'll see there we've got points and rarity, and if I just go to suggestions and go and click on it, it's then going to have a stab at what it thinks would be a good layout using our point system. We've still got 19 points remaining after it just had a bit of a go at building up our troops. These are the available troops that we have. I'll just talk a little bit about how this one works as well. So we've got one troop of air defense. Now, I'm not going to need that with what we end up having through here. So this is actually a waste of money for me. So I'm just going to go and press the suggestion again until I get something that looks pretty good. So we've got a battalion of infantry and a battery of self-propelled howitzers. That actually probably would work for this map, just looking at what they've actually done through there. Let's open this up and see what we've got. So you sort of always have to have at least some sort of headquarters. So we've got a headquarter team, we've got a second in charge headquarter team as well, and an operations team. So they're the different teams. They've ditched all of their Land Rovers, so they've gotten rid of all of those, which you can sort of see are into here. If I want to bring them back, I can just go and revive to bring them back into the mix, or I can just press the backspace, which will do the same thing. So I can sort of see that we've got that particular group. I'm actually comfortable with that. Oops, hang on. I'll just go and open these up. Then we have a recce platoon. And what do we end up having through here? Fox armoured cars. Then we've got a whole lot of recce squadrons. We'll have a look at what they are. The reconnaissance vehicles, we've got Scorpions back in through here. And we've got a mortar carrier there as well. Mortars are going to be, I think, important in this particular one. So the Scorpions will actually be able to then go and have a bit of a look around to see sort of what's actually going on. And then we've actually got the recce squadrons that we actually have if we open these up. We've got a headquarters team, armoured personnel carrier, and an armoured car. So these are just going to be very, very small reconnaissance groups. Two armoured cars in through there. So we do actually have some of these Fox armoured cars. Now, I would prefer to have a little bit more infantry than just armoured car type stuff. So I'm going to chop and change this a little bit. And then we have and then we do actually have at the bottom there some other things that have been added in. Now these are all just standard. We're not using any of the rarity at all. So if there was something that was rare, and hopefully I can sort of find an example of that one. Actually, sorry, this isn't too bad. We've got the Scorpion vehicles in through here. Then we've got a support company, which has got a mortar platoon back in through that other side. They've gotten rid of the anti-tank platoon, and they've got a pioneer platoon in there as well. So the mortar platoon is actually worth 500 points. That's actually good. I'm happy with that. And then we've got the rifleman company. So we've got like the Land Rovers have gone, but we then actually do have a headquarters, a 2IC, and then the platoons. The platoons consist of, like we've got a truck which has been taken off. I don't know if they've all been taken off. It looks like they all have. But again, the game has sort of gone and sort of chopped and changed things a little bit through here. This one's got a scout team associated with it as well. But we have like light mortars, headquarters teams. But going through a city like this is actually pretty ideal with what we end up having. So and again, we've just got the third platoon has got the rifles, the light mortars, and the headquarters team. So those platoons are going to be our main way of attacking. So that's A company. B company will have the similar sort of thing in through there with their platoons. And then we're going to have the C company as well. So these are worth 600 points to end up with these. I can turn these off as full companies as well if I wanted to. We've got an air controller team, which I don't see the value of, so I'm going to press backspace on that one. That was a special one that was brought in. We've got a battery self-propelled artillery. What else have we got in? What have we got? 6 155 millimeter howitzers. It's worth a lot, but I think that's worth having. So I think we'll actually leave that one in to support the attack. So we've got, by getting rid of that one, we've got 85 to spend. Let's have a look and see what else we can do. So with the formations, I can then go through, and these are like when I've got formations selected and then the armoured infantry, which is what we have access to. I can then choose from, like you can see there, this is the battalion, and which has been sort of brought in, but we've got less things in here than what they would normally have. Now this is actually this one here, infantry battalion, and through this other side, they're for 4933, but it's actually they've cut a fair few points out of it for us, just so we can sort of get the points down to allow us to get the battery back in through there. So these are the different things we can do: engineer troops, air defence. So these are all stuff that we could add in if we're wanting to. Other things so we don't have a real lot to choose from. We do have artillery back in through this other side, and so we should find the howitzer battery. So one battery of self-propelled howitzer. So we're down through here. The self-propelled is self-propelled gun, self-propelled howitzer. That should be it there. Heavy. We've got a that's different again. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the 1374 is that one there. So that's the one that's sort of then chosen. This, by the way, is special. So these are that means that these guys have got like a special, like these are not standard. These cluster bombs. So these are using up. We don't have the rarity points to be able to bring these in. So if they like when you sort of see the rarity, I don't think we had them back for the armored. Yeah, nothing with the armored infantry there at all. Air support. We could actually bring in different aircraft as well if we wanted to. These do have special amounts, but that's something that could be done. And then we've got fortifications. If we were defending, we can then sort of bring these in as well, again with special costs. So we can't have more than the rarity cost in for that sort of special stuff in through there. All right, that's just the basic forces. Now, the next thing we actually have is we've got specialist teams. These will be infantry, basically. We saw there the scout team was added to one of the other groups. And so these are just worth 34 points. These can be then added in. We've got a scout team. We've got a breach team. Breach team may be worthwhile, actually, in this particular run. It's for 56 points for those guys. These guys are, you see it's got a arrow next to where it's going to be applied. So you've got to then choose where that goes, and not just in that level. You can actually then choose that they go into, for example, a company. It might be, in fact, I think that a company had was it the first platoon? No, second platoon. We had the scout team. So the scout team had been added to the second rifle platoon of a company. So it gets fairly convoluted the way it sort of does go and work. Machine gunners. I'm thinking that like a sniper detachment would also be useful. So we might sort of use a few of these points and sort of strip out some other points and bring these in. The other thing we have is that we can actually not just bring in specialist teams, we can bring in single vehicles. And so we actually have typically a range of different stuff that we can do. Hopefully we end up with some chieftains, which we don't. So we don't actually have the combat. We don't have a main battle tank with the groups that we actually end up having through here. So it's not really worth bringing any more of these in. So we do actually have the scorpions, basically, which we've already got. I think, have we got them? They're using APCs, so armoured cars there. Excuse me. So FV 721s, yeah, there it is there, which is not as good as a Scorpion. Armoured cars versus reconnaissance. I think I'll just keep that. So I'll keep them where they are. So there's not really a lot to be brought in there, but what we might do is get rid of some of the recce's. So we're getting 200 points there. So let's go and ditch those. Let's just go and press backspace. That gives me another group of points. I can then sort of go and start to add in, and I don't really think I need any more of these. Yeah, the Scorpion is sort of something that I wouldn't mind having. Yeah, look, I'll leave that alone. So we'll go back to the specialist teams and just add in a few back into the various sort of squads. So let's just go and close that one up. We'll keep A company where that is, and then we'll just go into the various. So A company, first platoon. Let's have first platoon as our specialist team. So that's the first rifle platoon through there. We've got this one here with the scout team, and that one there. So let's go into this group and do a breach team, and so that will then be added in. It should be added in there. I'll purchase, sorry, down the bottom here. So breach team there. I'm going to go into, actually what I'll do is I'll go to each company, and their first platoon that they have is, we will just go and add a breach team to that. Okay, so we're down to 173, and then the fifth platoon, sorry, that's the B company. So we've got A and B company. I've only got 2 rifle platoons there. Let's just get A company back up. Actually, no, we do have a few more. So we've got the, and then we've got C company. So we'll just go down to the 7th platoon and add a breach team in there. All right, we're down to 117. Did they put a scout group in there? I don't know if I want to have the scout group. So what I might do is put a sniper detachment in with that group. So we'll just get a sniper detachment there. And I'll just go and do the same with the last platoon in each of these cases. Now this, I think that's the that's the next page over. Again, user experience is really bad in this game. It's really not good at all. So we've got the B company. We've got that one selected. We'll just go and get another sniper detachment there. Purchase. The breach team will can smash its way through walls, and so that can be useful in the in what we're going to be doing. And then the A company, just go back down to the 3rd platoon, and just get another sniper detachment there. Purchase. So we've got 24 points remaining. I'm happy with that. So let's just go in and use this one. It looks like we're going to be on foot for a lot of our forces, so it's going to take a bit of time to sort of move them up. We're going to have a lot of forces to command here. So again, each run can be really quite different with what actually ends up happening. Now these are actually that's, yeah, we do actually have battalion mortars which are off map as well. Actually, I don't know if we've got them. No, that's okay. We'll just leave them where they are. All right, that's okay. We're done. Finally. Right, so we have, what type of attack is it? Forces. Assault. Okay, so we are assaulting a prepared defence. So makes life a bit more difficult for us. And this is the map selection that is used. Town forest damaged is the actual map that was chosen for us to then go and assault. So this makes life difficult because we have to dislodge, and we can't just go in and and we're going to have to discover things. So it's not one of these, and I might show you what happens if you just charge in without actually any real plan. So we'll just go and click on OK. One thing again, user experience wise, I wish that there was different ways of it automatically covering different bits and pieces. So as we sort of come in, actually we are in a different location this time. Let's just go and, whoops, just go and press number 6. So all of our forces have actually been positioned there. Is that the same one that we were looking at before? Maybe it was actually. Now that we've got people there, it sort of gives a bit more context. Nothing on that side, so we can use that other side. Yeah, and that's there. There's the wall. Yep. So it's the same one that we're looking at through there. Let's use 3 or 4, even 4 as a bit of a guide as to what's going on. Now we're seeing a few different things. We're aware that there's a group that we think is in this forest, and it looks like there's actually some barbed wire or something that's sort of down this way. So we've got like a barrier there, so we're not going to be able to flank easily. What else do we see? The barbed wire, more barbed wire positioned back over here. So we're sort of seeing that there's a group that sort of they've positioned barbed wire down that side, which is not going to worry us that much. A few different forces that we are aware of. This is sort of like stuff that we've got information on, basic information, where there's some sort of vehicle there in around this area and another vehicle in there somewhere, which so we're thinking that there may be vehicles on that side of things. I might split my forces up a little bit. So if we have a look at our forces, this is a setup phase. Place units and give first commands. So what I will do is I'm just going to press escape and save. How do I save? If I go into the menus, yep, and do a save there. So quick battle 03, deploy. So I just go, and that way I can always come back to this point if I'm wanting to. So we're sort of now into the actual game itself. The forces that you'll sort of see through here, the little icons, then sort of tell us who's where and what each group actually has. So I can sort of go and click on, for example, a little bit of a unit. This is a scout team, and so they're going to have their own sort of stats that go through. We'll have a bit of a look at those. Really don't have very many vehicles. I've got a few sort of like armoured cars. Actually there's a Scorpion there, so we do have a Scorpion in through this other side, which can then sort of do a bit of scouting. We should have armoured cars in through here as well. This one is a mortar carrier. Then we've got these are the foxes. So we've just got the small foxes back in through here, which do have different sorts of guns. The armor that we actually have, like the actual group that we've ended up getting. So you can see through here, this the difference between the Game Engine 4 and the Game Engine 1, 2, and 3. Like it's everything looks a lot more realistic with this latest game engine, and you can sort of see the units are now sort of just doing what they do inside the vehicles, whatever they're getting up to. So the vehicle itself has got its own stats with what does go on here. Actually, I might just turn down the sound a little bit. Just bear with me, guys. I'll just move the game sound down because it's probably going to get a little bit loud. So with this particular one, each vehicle has got like what type of ammo it's got. So it's got the 30mm high explosive. It's got 33 of those, 30mm APDS, so armor piercing, 66 of those, and 7.62mm as well. So it's sort of like more small arms type fire. And it's got 2,000 bullets of those. It's then also got its own, like everything to do with the actual vehicle itself, like it's the main gun, the coaxial gun, the smoke launchers in through there, radio, engine, the weapon controls, optics and wheels. So this is the status of the vehicle itself, and then it's also then got armor. And the way it works in this little column is small arm fire, sort of like getting towards like actual RPGs at the top there. Now, what this is showing us is that the first column there is from the front, next one is from the side, next one is from the rear, and next one is from the top. So if it's sort of in a low position and and they end up getting a top hit, basically it's not going to survive. But you can see there, these are very, very weak anyway. Like pretty much going to be destroyed by nearly anything, and even small arms fire is going to do damage to this vehicle. Doesn't matter how we got the facing, it's crap. It's a crappy little vehicle. If we go to something a bit more substantial, like this is the actually that's only a slight increase in the small arms, but can't protect against anything else at all. So that one there is the FV 432 APC. We've got the mortar carrier through there. Again, not going to have any real benefit. We may be better off with these scorpions. The scorpions are back into here. Hardly at all, actually. These are really, really quite crappy. And so if we had main battle tanks, they would actually have much, much better protection, but we don't have any. So our vehicles are not going to be playing a big role in this fight. So you can sort of tell that one just by looking at that particular screen there. So I'll just go back to the standard look at what it's actually then going and doing. Each unit, like it's at a breach team. Yep, that's a breach team in through there, which has then got sort of like a demo charge, which can then sort of blast its way through buildings. So if we have a look at these are headquarters. So we don't know exactly where the headquarters are. When I click on a headquarters, I can then sort of see who's associated with that one. So that headquarters is associated with this unit back and through there. In fact, if I click on that one, that's First Section HQ in a recce squad. So the recce is actually in that building. Sorry, the headquarters is inside that building for one of the recce platoons. If I go and double click on the actual platoon itself, it will then highlight the units that are part of that particular group. So that group there is the group, and I can then go and position this one. So if I go in and press space, I can move through. We are still in the setup phase, so I probably do want to keep them on this side, just so I can sort of see what's going on with the vehicles. Let's go and find other groups. If I just go and click somewhere else, it then won't do anything. If I go and click on it as well, I can then sort of see, well, that one's still actually picking up. Did that pick up that one as well? Oh, that's a different group. That's a different recce group. That one there is the 7th platoon. So we're going to sort of find that there's going to be a lot of commanders in amongst this particular group. There is another way for me to do this, and I forget what it is. If I just go back to the menus again. There's a few little things as well with the menus, and I always have to get my head into how to then go and do it. We've got in the hotkeys, toggling the trees. Alt-T is a good one, just for trying to figure out what to do. And so going back from where you can see everything down to there's a few different ways, a few different modes in between that one. That's actually a great one to be using. Sometimes the lighting can be really quite good as well. Night graphics Alt B can be a useful one as well. There's a fair few in these that are quite good. Yeah, that's okay. Combat command. Yeah, that's okay. No, there's nothing else we need to really go and do there. So that's fine. We'll just leave that one where that is. So I thought there was a way I could bring up the actual team itself, like the group, and have it step through. Yeah, I can do it from here. So this is 8th Platoon HQ, is part of the C Company, and so I can go and click on C Company, which is part of the 1st Battalion. And if I go and click on the 1st Battalion, this is the leadership of the 1st Battalion, and so this is my overall leader, sort of off to the side through here. And if I double click that, we basically pick up all of the forces on the ground here. So they pick up everyone. See, this is a quick way of sort of just selecting everyone. You can also just go and, actually I thought you could drag and click and drag. No, you can't. I thought you could. Anyway, that's something, so we do actually have those when I go and do it. So as I go through each one of these, this is going to be 3rd Section HQ, and I can then sort of see this is a recce platoon in through this other side. So it really is just like a smallish group. I'm going to put one recce platoon back on the other side. So let's just go and position those. And I think that's just space to then go and position them. So I'll just go and press the space, movement, fast, and just pop them there. So as long as I use one of the movement commands, so I can just use B or even N. N would actually do the job. So I want them to be able to have a bit of a look around. So I'm going to move them to one of the corners and have them sort of do stuff from the corner. I will make use of these a little bit, but not a lot. Other ones that we've then got. This is the 1st Section HQ. Double click that one. I probably will keep this one back over this other side, but I have to put it in the blue, so I can't do anything else with it, but I'll keep a couple on the other side. So let's just go and press N and just go and position those. If they don't fit, you then got to go back for the other one. So with that selected, this one just didn't actually get a chance to fit in there. If I just go and deselect, and then go and click that one. Come on, pick it up. I can then have to sort of manually go and do it. So I want them to sort of work together. So what I should have done is position them initially and then move them up. So with that one selected, I can then just go and double click the leader. It takes a long time setting up these forces. In fact, let's do it that way. So that's got those two. The overall leader itself, I'm going to move him right back because I don't want him involved. I can shift click and just grab those guys. This is still going to be the right area for him, but let's just move him back down the bottom here. Just out of the way. Okay, then we'll get a full platoon on the other side as well, like a full company. So if we just go back across and have a bit of a look, so we've still got recce platoons there. I do want to have one recce platoon back up this side. This is actually recce platoon on that side. That's a recce platoon HQ. I'll just go and position these manually. This has got the, oops, just going to grab that one, just to keep them all together. So we've got mortars and things like that in there as well, which we'll come back to. Then we've got the actual squads themselves. So when we go, this is B Company, our 1st platoon. So if we go into the B, so that's B Company there. Well, let's make the first, so we've got B Company, we've got A Company there in here somewhere as well. That's B Company, that's C Company. Where's A Company? There's A Company there. This is A Company. I'm just going to go and double click that one and bring those back across as well. So I'm just going to move them across the other side if I can. It may be best for me to combine these a little bit more, but I don't know if they'll fit in. Oh yeah, it looks like they did. Yep, that's got everyone. It's a little bit convoluted with the way that this is sort of coming together, but getting your positioning right is actually a big part of getting the game to work. Let's go 5, just so we're looking further down on it. Why is it not wanting to play? Let's go 6, so we're looking straight down. So we've got the breach team in there as well. I'll just go and position these in around that one. So that's going to be the first squad that we then sort of take up through the tree line there. So that was now that group there was a company of the 1st Battalion. If I go back to 1st Battalion, it's pretty much the whole group. So it's not really going to sort of work that well. We want that's a company there as well. Sorry about how long this is going to take. Grab those, bring them across the other side. So this is, just go and position them in here somewhere. That's okay. I thought there was a way for me to be able to very quickly go and get everyone. I sort of pick up the squads. Let's let me have another quick look at the menus again. We're looking for like an order of battle. Oh, hang on. So we've got select next unit is the minus and the equals. And I think that we can use that one to go through the equal levels squads, I think. The selection shift and left click and drag will give me the rectangle. Mouse, that's okay. Mouse wheel. Yeah, I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing the actual squads. I know that there is a way to do it. Movement, combat, special, clear unit target. Yeah, delete last waypoint. Select last unit. Talk to internet opponent. Yeah, that's okay. 3D model quality. I think it's this, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought there was a way to access the order of battle. I'm not seeing it there. Not sure where that is. Sorry, guys. So we are stuck doing this way again. User experience is terrible in this game. So if I go and get one of these guys, this is a support company 1st Battalion. If I then press the plus, then go through each individual unit, then we end up with the a company. And we're back with another group there. I think it's now sort of choosing this other one now. Yeah, we're starting to now just go through. I won't worry about doing that in that sort of sense. I'll just go and position. I won't do too much more up this side. I think I'll almost just leave it where it is. In fact, I sort of wish now I hadn't have used infantry because this is going to take forever. In fact, I'm going to start again, guys. I'm sorry about this. And I don't have a hell of a lot of time, unfortunately, either. Yeah, I think I need to use infantry. I need to use mechs. Ah, this is terrible, isn't it? This is not good. Let's go and quit. And we'll go and do another quick battle there. I'll just keep the same stats in through there. Forget armoured infantry. We'll just go straight to armoured this time. And click on OK. And we'll just pick whatever the AI gives us, basically. We won't tweak anything. So we can just go suggestions. If you've still got a rifle battalion, air defence. Oh, God, I don't want that. Come on, give me something else. Armoured Recce Regiment, which has got got Sultans, Scorpions. This isn't going to be good. This is not going to be good. Mortars, self-propelled guns. I just don't have the points, unfortunately. The armored regiments just cost a lot, but these at least got SP self-propelled guns in through there as well. Just try a bit more. Rifle battalion. I've only got one company of this with APCs. This will be a bit easier for us to then control, I think. We've got a support company there with mortar platoon, anti-tank platoon. And what have these got? Personnel carriers with Milans. Oh yeah, I'm not sure again if I like that idea. We still don't have, even with armour, we're just not getting any tanks. And I wouldn't mind getting some tanks in this as well, just to sort of show that aspect off. I think I'm going to get rid of the anti-tank platoon and with the support company. So let's ditch this one. This is 1,200 points. So we'll backspace that one out of there, and then we'll go to the support company itself, and we'll go back to the single vehicles, and just go typical. That'll be okay. If I just go back to support company has been selected, so anything I add in will then go into here. So we do actually have the main battle tanks. This will be veteran, high, fit. Yep, that's all good. So we'll go and purchase some of these. 1, 2, 3. That then gives me, I can get 4. There we are. So we're over now. We're over. So I'll get rid of that bottom one. Other group. So we're just placing that into the support company. So they'll sort of run off the back of that one. We've got 204 points. I think I'll just leave it. Let's just get into the actual game itself. It was going to be too long to arrange all those other forces. So we'll look at the map preview this time. Let's see what we've got. So this is much more open by the looks of things. Oh, that's the edge of the map. That's not the actual map itself. Yeah, there we go. This is actually a forest that we're now looking at. Let's look at number 7 and just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we've got we load into here, then we have to move our way along this road to take this weather station and the hills. So that's okay. We'll just go and press escape again. So with that one, that'll do us. We'll just go and press OK. Hi Began, how you going? I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water. Be right back. Now this is it's an attack again, so battle type attack. So we are going into a defended location. I'm just going to click on OK. So everyone is now going to be compressed into this little corner on this road. So we've got the whole group. This is now much more approachable because we've got the forces are sort of where they need to be, which is good. So we're going to have like different sorts of recons and stuff like this. We do actually have a this is a mortar team back in through there with a forward observer. The little binoculars are like a forward observer group, which one's that one on? 3rd section HQ. So we'll be wanting to sort of not rush with this. In fact, what I'll do is I'll save this one here. So if I just go across into menus, save, deploy. Okay, and then if I show you what happens if I just rush it into trying to take these different areas. Like if I press shift and then grab all of these and just give them an objective to just run into what's actually happening through here. So if I just tell them to go in and just do a fast move, which is the B key. If I just go and tell them your objective is to rush forward, so that I'm just giving them all objectives in that way. If I then end my turn, so this is the first turn that you have, there's no delay to what they will then go and do, but after that it can be with the commands. So if we just go and deselect, it's now just going to that's its starting position. Now we should be decimated depending on what's actually going to happen. We'll come back and load the deployment, but if we end up doing this, ultimately we should end up with a lot of issues. So it's a WeGo system. It goes for 1 minute. They're dropping artillery. Artillery shouldn't worry us too much. It might knock out a few vehicles. Got a bit of congestion with all the other vehicles through there. We still haven't come across any just yet. All right. One of the other problems we have, again, with the user experience with the game is that it doesn't use stock standard ways of pausing. You have to press the escape key, which is annoying. So what we've already found just by rushing this one forward, that there's actually a group in through here that is positioned on the side through this other side. Some sort of, we don't know what they actually are. Are they a sniper team or something? I'm not sure. No, Strela team. So that's an anti-tank team. So they're actually positioned on the rearward facing side of that one, and they're now firing at our vehicles as they move forward. We've already had one rear top hull hit on this particular vehicle, so we've actually had something hit this one. It's still actually okay, but it's not, essentially we should be smashed fairly soon with as we sort of come back through the area. Just press escape again. There they go. They're actually aiming at that one there. Now we're getting penetration hits, and through this other side we probably won't even know where they're firing from, because we just rushed in. This is actually, we've done better here than what I thought we would, to be honest. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's 1 minute that has now been played out of the actual attack. We've got a congestion of forces through here that can't make their way through. And we've actually been able to rush forward a fair bit. What have we got down that way? So we've got another group underneath here. A couple of groups. We'll have to pick them. So there'll be infantry down there anyway. That's we're not seeing anyone else. Let's just end our turn again and just watch what actually does happen here. So they've still got the same orders than what they had before. And then we'll come back and load in the deployment and then do it properly. Oh, there we go. We're now sort of we're seeing bullets are firing from these areas, and now we're starting to come across units that are hidden in the bushes. Units are still rushing their way down the roads. So artillery is still trying to do things in here. Yeah, more Strela teams. Other teams in through there as well. But we actually got fairly far in with just doing a rush attack. It usually doesn't work. Sometimes to get the objective at the end, you sort of got to then go and do it. So what that's showing us is that we're going to need to force our way through each area. We've lost like vehicles down in here now, and we've got different forces now getting out. The forces will sort of act realistically with what they end up doing. Vulnerable saying, I love the combat mission games, but they are very expensive and the price never drops on these games. Well, they're 50% and 60% off right now. So you can actually go and get them for a lot off. So yeah, most of them are either 50 or 60% off. So now's the time. Yeah, you're right. They normally don't. I think we'll see that change because Battlefront never used to give any sort of meaningful. I think it used to only be up to about 10%. But the on Steam at the moment they are 50 and 60% off for the games, which is great. Like as you said, like you don't see that. So, but I think with Slytherin now doing the in control of them, we'll see more of those sorts of specials over time. You don't normally see these sorts of games go for less than that. So, I think now is a good time for these sort of basic games. Anyway, let's go and reload in our forces, our deployment. So I'm just going to go into menus. Going to quit, yes, and we're going to load save games. So we go into deployment into this other side and fight. So we're just going to come back in and redeploy. So this time we'll do it properly. So what we've got is, with the different forces, we've now got a much more comfortable group of forces under our control. So these guys are part of the support group. The support group headquarters will be there. So this will be Support Company HQ. And so I'm going to use Support Company with the tanks, and I'm going to be wanting to think about what I do with the tanks. I'm going to be wanting them to have Overwatch, maybe even just from this ridge line here. So let's go and move the Support Company back down this other side. So if I just go and press shift click on that one, shift click on that one, and then just N, and just move them back into here. That gives me all of these. If I double click that one, oh hang on, that's actually got even more. Support Company is, what's that one there? That's the mortar platoon. What's that one over this way? Okay, this is the APCs, which we don't, like the mortar company looks like it's actually in charge for some reason of the others. This is, oh, that's a Sultan. That is just a command vehicle. That there is the rifle company. All right, so we've got a rifle company there inside the APCs, and we'll be wanting, just thinking about how we assault this one. We've got the bridge, which we can try to do an assault on. So I think we'll actually come and do that one through this tree line. We can probably take this tree line through here with a lot of the forces, and then swing back around this other side to then try to take this tree line in here to then have a bit of a look to see what we can then go and do with the other forces. So I'm happy enough with where they are. Let's go back to this group, and that one's in this is all attached as well. We'll just use the shift and then just drag around these units, just position them up. So we just end up with the battle tanks up this side. Actually, we do have another chieftain there as well. So we did end up with an extra one that was part of this particular group. So we've got army personnel carriers back in through that other side. You've got a few APCs, but they don't actually have troops on board. These are just Spartans. I'll move them up this side. So I'm just going to, again, press shift, drag and grab all of those. Just press the N key. Just move them up the side there. This group here is the APCs with more infantry, and then we've got another group in this way as well. That's actually the overall battalion commander. That one there is the 2IC team, and then the operations team. So that's my actual core. So I'm just going to go and shift drag that one and just bring that one back. And then we do actually have this little group in through here. This is D Company, which has just got like a 2IC team in through there again as well. We don't actually have enough troops. What do we have in here? That's 3rd Section Rifle. It's rifle. So we do actually have rifles here and here. So this group in here is actually probably more what we want to have to go this side. And what I want to do is I want to keep them in cover before it's time to expose them. So I'm just going to go and move them up. So I'm just going to give them an order just to move. So just N and move up to here somewhere. So they're just going to move up to that location. Then just right click to stop them from doing anything else. This group in through here, I'll just do shift and just drag this one as well. Just get them on the other side of the hill there. Right click. This is the D Company HQ and the 2IC. 1st Battalion HQ with all the different teams in through there again as well. I'm going to take D Company and I'm going to move them up into this group as well. I think that the visuals up this way are going to be much more important. So I'm going to use these for spotting more than anything. And so I'm just going to go and shift, grab those two. Oops. me do it. Okay, and N. And we'll just get them into the actual tree line. So we'll move them up into this position here. So I'm just moving slowly. I'm not moving fast with anything at this stage. I'm going to keep these at the back, as that's my sort of leadership, and we'll figure out what to do with those. Now we do actually have this group, which is not attached to anything else. This is the this has also then got infantry, so we'll just get them to move up into here. And then we've got this one here is an APC. Actually, that one's already moving up. That one's moving up as well. That one's not. This is the Sultan. I'll get these individually moved into position. Just keep them all together. Just keep them on the back side of the hill until we sort of find targets. That one isn't moving actually. This is the support company HQ, so I'm just going to leave this one in behind here as well. Alright, that's everyone now moved, except for the full leadership. Whoops, I always do that. Now backspace, we'll then get rid of the last waypoint. So that will then do us. I will now just do another save. Menu, save. Deploy 01, that'll do. Done. Okay, so end our turn there. So the first phase that we need to do is to try to scout. They may still send their artillery into this phase where they think that everything's got to come through. Yeah, they are. So they're assuming that if we rush, they will then have all of that area done. So these are now on the back of the of where everything else actually is. Just one thing we didn't do is I don't think we had any artillery. Now that one's a little bit exposed there. It's not too bad, but if I get sort of down the actual with what things can see, it's not terrible. This is actually a mortar, but it's actually in a good position there, so that's actually going to be fine. These guys have now made it into here. There's nothing else like that I can keep on replaying this particular move until I then press the button again. So we're still in the review the action phase, so I can redo things. If something happened, I could go back and look specifically at a unit to sort of see what actually did happen with it. Now, just trying to make sense of the tree line, if I do the Alt-T, you'll see I can get rid of the trees completely, or I can go Alt-T and just have the stalks. So I'm going to keep it with just the stalks. That will give me an idea as to what I'm dealing with. So I'm just going to now go and get these guys to go and offload. So sorry, we're just going in that phase. And so with this group, I want this leader to get out of there. So I'm just going to go and get him to move into, say, this position here. So he's going to dismount and move to there. And at that point, I then want him to go and do something special. I want him to basically just go down and hide. So I want him to dismount and hide at that location. And I want this other one to do the same as well. So this one here, I want to have it dismount and hide over here somewhere. So it's just going to be N to move, and then H to hide. So they'll walk there and then sit and watch. The others I'm going to keep back, but I want to do the same thing on the other side here with this group to start to sort of then use potentially the leader So I'm going to get him to dismount and move up. So this will be N. We're just going to move him into a position here in the tree line. Let's maybe start to here and then hide. So we want them to just sit and watch for a period of time in case we can sort of see something. The tanks I'm not going to do anything with, and we also have this is a Sultan mortar platoon. Sorry, what have we got? Sorry, the mortar platoon is up. This is not a mortar. Might even move that one up as well. We do actually have the leader there. This is the mortar platoon HQ. This is I think it's like a forward observer. So this one would be ideal just to also just move it up into this position here. Let's just move it into there. It's in behind the tree line a little bit. And what have we got here? That's, whoops, backspace to get rid of that last waypoint. An APC here with the support company HQ. I will actually move this one off as well. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to get this one to move up to here, and then at that point get you to get out and then hide. So we want to get units that can spot out and about. So that will then do us for this next phase. The artillery is not near where we are, which is fine. So I can also use these for spotting. I might even just use these guys to also then just come up even onto this ridge line here. So let's go and move them up to there, and then we'll get these to get out and have a look from the top here. I think that they'll wait until they get up to the top there. Let's just end our turn here. Oh, if we press the C key, it gives us a wider angle, which can be useful. Oh, now we just got shot there. Just press escape. I can then sort of pause the game. So these guys were shot from the other angle down this way. So there was something that happened where they were spotted, and what will then happen here is that the units, and I don't know who was targeted there. When we actually finish this thing off, I can then just go back and review the action from here. Let's just keep it going. Oh, penetration from this angle over here somewhere, and we lost units there. So D Company headquarters actually took a big damage there. They didn't get out in time, and they're now really struggling. There we go. Now they will just sit and slowly pick targets. And he's now, there's a bit of a problem there. So I can now rewind the action. If I go back to, I can just play again, the keyboard shortcuts. This game is a shocker when it comes to the user interface, as I said before. It's a great little game, so this is actually where things were. So if we have a bit of a look to see if we can sort of spot what actually happens here. So I can't press that button, otherwise I end my review the action phase. And I can skip past 10 at a time. Let's just go there. And to pause it, I've got to click that one again or press the escape key. Which is just stupid. Why isn't it the space key? Like, it really drives me nuts, this aspect of the game. Yeah, so we just got hit from over here. Like we were targeted. And so at this point in time, the HQ is trying to get away from this one. So they're moving off. In fact, it may just be one person with the HQ. Let's just keep it going. Actually, it was just one person. See if we can see the angle for the next one. There we are. Got a group over here that we've now spotted. So they'll be dug in. So we've got a group in through here, anti-tank group, that's firing at the vehicle. So I'm pretty sure that will be the one that will then sort of do the damage. And so it's using just a rifle. Right, let's keep on going. So press escape. Here we go. So we can actually see, one thing you'll notice which is really cool with this is that the bullets are completely modelled, so that it's an RPG, but it will actually have a natural dip. Like it won't just be straight. It's actually and it can hit trees on the way. But in this case, this one's going to do the damage. I can't slow down time again. God, this thing would be so good if there was a better user interface. Let's just press the escape key. Bang, in she goes. At that point, so that anti-tank gun there has done the damage against this group. Now, if I sort of have a look to see where that one actually is, it's just on the edge of the tree line there. We can expect that there's going to be a fair few of them in around there, but that one's got a good commanding view of this area, and it can see through the trees to this particular group. So this has been taken out, and the crew that were in there will now be dead. There'll be a crew in here as well. We've got yeah, I think it's 2 crew, 2 armored personnel carrier, but I think it's got 2. I think it's 2 people that are inside these. Anyway, if I just go and let that one go again. So there, two deaths. Now this one possibly will then be targeted, so we now need to move this one out. Oh, there we go. There was another. Whoops, that was tab, escape. God, this user interface does drive you nuts. These were being targeted. These guys here were being shot at, and so I think it was them, or it could even be this vehicle here. Let's just watch and see again what actually does happen. There was some more firing from back over this other side. So we'll just press escape. Oh, it was the infantry that was targeted. And that's it. Right, done. So we'll we now can sort of see what the go is there. This one will probably be the next target for this group, which is a problem. Now, where's our mortars? We do actually have small mortars on here if we wanted to use them. Should be a mortar team. There's a mortar team there. So I can start to give this one support, like fire support. We do have the forward observer here as well. I really should be using the forward observer to do a lot of this sort of work. So let's just click on done. So we're now in the next phase. Let's get this guy out so he can then give the forward observing for the mortar. So just go and tell him to go in and get into this position, and we'll try to keep him away from the visuals. Then we'll go to hide, and then we'll just go back to the movement commands where we can just go just slow movement, or even just N, and I'll just get him to move. He should then stay hidden. Yeah, so he's going to stay hidden and crawl to that position, which should give him good views across the battlefield. So that's him done. We are aware of things that are actually happening back over there. Oh, this one was hit as well. So this particular group, weapon mount was hit. We can have a quick look and see the damage. So the coaxial gun was taken out. So we actually didn't see where that one came from. It's now too late. Again, user experience would be great if it didn't sort of do that bit of it. This one here is this commander is. I can move that one off. I'm just going to go and press N and just get it there and then hide. And this one here I'm going to reverse back. So we've got the different movements, fast, quick move, slow, hunt, hold down or reverse. I'm just going to reverse down the hill. The chieftain tanks are going to have a lot better abilities to then go and do different things. So for example, if I click on each unit, this unit's not even aware of what's going on, so it doesn't know about those other two. The infantry will do much better at spotting. This one is moving up to hide, that's okay. This one's going way too far. So I'm just going to go and I can actually reposition this one. I'm just going to go and position that one there, just to get it up to that position. The tanks, I don't like. If I go back to the at the moment with what's actually happening from this other side, we know that there's RPGs hitting units. I wish I had have seen that, because I would like to know what took that out. But if I go into this particular tank and then go to the armor, you can sort of see through here, these have got a much better survivability with being hit in the front, with everything that's actually going on through this other side. And so small arms fire is not going to worry this one. It's only from top attacks where a sort of like a heavier bullet will then sort of work. Tank guns are going to be able to get through the side and the rear and the top, but not so much the front. And similarly with RPG, so I can move one of these tanks up just to have a bit of a look around if we wanted to. So let's go and move this one up. We'll try to move it into a hold down position, so it's going to be positioning right on that ridge line, and it's a hard thing to do with this one, to go into hold down. If I go and click, I think I'm not sure if you click and then click again. I'm not sure if that's the way it works. I don't think it is. Just go and get rid of both of those. I know that there's a weirdness to it where you sort of go and choose a point and then another point or something like that. But I don't know if that's if that does it. I don't think it does. I don't want to risk that. Let's just try to get hull down at that other point here. So I'll just go back to this one here. Just press backspace, and I will just move it up just slightly. And from the facing, we were doing a face this other side. So we'll just go back to. We've got reverse, then we've got the targets face the G. I'm just going to face this way. Alright, so that should, actually G, it's actually doing it from that location. G, there we are. So it's going to move to that position, but I don't think it's going to go to hull down. Hull down is hard in this game to get that one right. The chieftain as well, I think I'll leave that one behind. This guy here is in trouble, so I'm just going to go and reverse up. Back into the tree line even more. I'm going to keep everyone else where they are. That's all we're going to do this turn until we can really isolate and locate where these things actually are. So that one does have visuals on that guy, but we are seeing more and more. Alright, let's just go and press number 3. Did I press C? Yeah, C just gives me a wider range. Let's watch what happens this time through this little valley. More artillery. We can pop smoke as well. We're aware of more. The more we can stay hidden, the more we'll see. That tank. Oh, here we go. Now they're starting to use the artillery further back in our other zones. I just want to watch everything that goes on here. Still got 20 seconds. Yeah, they're targeting this one. Be at all surprised if we see an RPG fairly soon. There we go. Missed. So they fired. Let's just go back and rewind. That's 5 seconds at a time. I'm thinking they're going for the tank. Let's keep the tank there for a little while and just sort of see what they do. It looks like they're now trying to move their artillery up into a better position. The tank is aware of this, but let's actually have a look and see what actually happens here. The last little bit. Is that fired? sure what's going on there. There's definitely a something was definitely fired down this way. Let's have a bit of a look and see. Just go the last 20 seconds and just watch. That didn't look like artillery that dropped. That does. There it goes. So it was within the last few seconds. Yeah, so no, they did fire it. And so this is a anti-tank team. Anti-tank team in there. So we've got a hard road through here. That was wildly off. That particular one. Just have a quick look at the keyboard shortcuts again, just to get the select unit. There is a way to sort of get the camera in on the actual units themselves, so we can sort of see things from different units' perspective, which is good. Yeah, wide angle is good. Zoom in, zoom out. That's okay. God, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Lock camera to unit tab. Okay, it is tab. All right. So if I just press tab, I'm essentially then locked into what this unit's doing, and so I can then sort of see it. I can just start to sort of visualize what does go on here. So if I just let that one go through, bang, it sort of goes way over the top, but that is being targeted. So let's go and go to the next phase. And again, I don't really need to do anything yet until I'm going to keep that one there. We'll just see what happens with what's going on there. This one is now hiding in this position, so it's actually sort of getting up onto the tree line, and so it should then become aware. Like as I click on these, they're going to be missing certain aspects. But it looks like there was a few shots that came back this way. So we'll just go and watch again with a bit of interest as to what they're going to be doing through here. This one is still being targeted as well, but we now have a fair few trees in the way, so hopefully that will then sort of protect them. Let's keep that going. So, and then these leaders will then be moved out into positions where they can start to scout. Now at the moment they're hiding. If I just go and press the N key, so N, and just move up to the front line there, and just make sure that they stay hidden. I'm just going to go H, N, and H again, just make sure that they're hiding all the time. And just try to get, again, we're trying to spot as much as we possibly can and report back. The more we can get reported back to other units, the better off we're then going to be. This group is still coming back up now into a position where it can then try to get even more. I'm just going to press N, get it right on the edge. It's going to stay hidden. I'll see what happens with that unit there. Let's just go back in and have another look at the battlefield. Get a little bit more this way. All right, end our turn. You can save as you go, but I'll just let it go. So artillery is still falling. That won't last for much longer. I need to click that one off. If you have a unit selected, you're seeing it from the perspective. Yeah, okay, those fire, they are aiming at the tank, but they're not. Oh, there we go. The tank is now firing back, and we're now starting to see units back over through here again as well. There's firing coming back out this way. Just small arms fire. Oh, these can be spotted by something back over there. So we have to move these back. Okay, so a fair bit went on that side. Nothing dramatic, but the tank did actually start to fire at the different units. So we'll have a quick look at the perspective of the tank again, I think. So let's just we've lost sight of one of them now. I don't think he may have taken that out. Let's just go back and have a look. It's fairly early on. It is there. So we have this little unit in this other side. If I press tab, that's the unit. We're now looking at it from the perspective of this unit. Let's just see what actually happens here. So we sort of see what does go on. So we've got our tank on the other side there. So he is down this way. Bang. Okay, he was taken out. So yeah, so we used the machine gun plus a other thing. So that's actually good. So that was one of the. So we've destroyed an anti-tank group there. We've still got another anti-tank in through there as well. And there is small arms fire still firing across this way at the various vehicles that are all just sitting up through here. And again, these vehicles they've got a little bit of protection against small arms, but not really a hell of a lot. So I don't want to leave them where they are. I don't think there's nothing else that really happened at that point. So that tank did well. Might be time for us to bring another tank up, I think. So that if we go back through the list of what actually happened here, the tank became aware of so with our tank selected, and we go all the way back. He's loosely aware of these two. He's not aware of anything else, and he's only sort of like got loose awareness of it. And as I just go forward bit by bit, here comes the first of the attacks coming towards him, which again we sort of are in a bit of a hull down position here because this ridgeline is actually protecting us fairly well. Yeah, and that was the. If I just go back out again, should then fire again. Yeah, so that was, he did fire a rocket propelled grenade. We didn't see it all the way through, but that's, and then we just take him out straight away. So I think the tanks are going to be useful. I might bring them, all of them out actually, or at least another one. So let's leave that one there and just go and end that phase. I'm going to keep that one there because it's really not been targeted, or there's been no real issues with this one. These guys here, I want to move all of these down, so I'm just going to go and shift drag over those and just get them to reverse back down the hill. So I'll just backspace that and let's do that a little bit. That should be okay. So they're being spotted from over there and being targeted by just infantry. So time to get another tank into position. We've got only one tank on this side, but let's go and do it. Right click and so we'll bring this one up into. We're going to get some shots. Might just get this one back. I can pause as well, like I can pause for a little bit and then sort of move it up. So I might just go and do that one. I think P, yeah, pause for say 10 seconds and then we'll just go and position it in here somewhere. So we'll just go and, which won't be fully hull down. I don't want it to be too near the infantry. Yeah, let's just get it on that hill. These guys can just stay where they are, so they'll start to communicate back and radio in what they can see. We did see that there was somebody else way down over here. Yeah, there's unknowns under the bridge. So we'll try to just take out units as we can. And it may be that I might reverse this tank back as well. And then move it forward. Just around to this side here. Okay, we only want to have the fronts of the tanks showing. Okay, that'll do us, and we'll just end our turn again. There's no rush with this. fully aware of this one. That tank is getting into a position where it might be able to get another shot. It's a bit misleading. That's over here. The tank's now moving into a position. So it doesn't have a shot. Not even really aware of these specifically yet. Something happened in there. We might have a look at that. That was with 15 seconds to go, or 20 seconds to go. We might have a look to see what actually happened to that unit. Looks like it was taken out by something. I didn't see any other firing on this other side here at all, so let's just go back out to 25 seconds. So we've got the still got the anti-tank. We've got a gunner anti-tank. These are the different units that are in there, and then we've got an unknown unit there. Let's have a look and see what we can see and spot. As smoke also becomes more prevalent, we're going to then sort of lose sight on different things. But let's just see if we can spot what actually happens in here, just in these last few turns. Nothing actually. So I think it's just becoming clearer. So we're just doing better at spotting. All right, that's done. This artillery will finish soon enough, and it looks like we are able to take a lot of these things out just with our tanks anyway. So I might even move that tank up a little bit, just to just go and click on done, and so we'll just go and get this guy to just move up a little bit more. So just go in, which is going to then take him out from behind that ridge line. And we do know that there is. So he's thinking that there's two. If I deselect him, the information we have, the global information is it's only a single unit in through this other side, but he's thinking that there's two. So the tank has actually got misinformation at this point in time. This is what makes this game so great, is just this sort of stuff. I don't think we're going to be able to sort of see anything from this other side. We may have to do something down this other side, down through here again as well. Let's just bring this one around. Oops, other side, and we'll just see if we can just watch again. So I'm just going to sit until we really see an awful lot, and then we'll start to move different units up. We need to spot first. So even though we're not moving, it's still important. There are two units. So a lot of time. Okay, we're losing sight of them. Now there we go again. Come on, tank. Find your target. The longer I leave the tanks just sitting there, the more accurate they'll be, but they then become more of a target as well. So 15 seconds with nothing much happening. So we've got visuals down through this valley now, and we've now spent 6 minutes just sort of checking to see what's going on. We know that there's anti-tank forces back in through here somewhere. We're losing sight of them a little bit, and we know that there's a group under here. What I think we might do is actually now rush up with our infantry and start to assault these locations. So we've got like tree lines that run down this way. So let's just do it bit by bit. We'll send this group forward, and now has that one only got a mortar team on it? It looks like it does. Okay, let's go and rush these up. So if we just go, and we're still in the reaction phase, let's just go and end that one there. Let's get all of these guys sort of starting to do their assaults. So I'm just going to quickly rush these up. I'm just going to go fast movement, which is going to be B. to that position, and then with the mortar team, I'm going to go and get them off as well, just N, and just get them into the tree line, and then hide. So they'll hide at that location. Let's get these other ones to rush forward up to this other side of the rail line. There may be other forces there, but if we go with all three, that hopefully will be okay. If we just press Shift, just grab all three of those. That should be okay, and then we just go to fast, which is going to be B, to this position over here. Now if we get to that side, none of these are going to be able to do anything if we can get into there, but we don't know exactly what's over this other side just yet. So that looks okay to me actually, and then we're just going to go and go B again, just down this other side here. Actually I might just go it's just a little bit this way, and then we can just tweak each individual unit. So we'll just go in and grab this one here. I'm pretty happy with where that one actually is, and I don't think there's any special. I don't think we can actually offload. Our open up will also allow us to spot better, but it's also more dangerous, so we won't do that just yet. That one there. Get that one there, and then this one. Okay, and then the rifle groups that are actually on board here. So this is actually full-on squads. These are then going to get off, and so I'm just going to press N and just get them into positions like that. N. Hopefully that will then work. So we're sort of taking a bit of a punt here. All right, so we're going to rush across there and see how that one actually functions. Well, let's follow these in, and then we'll just do another review once we've actually got these into here. Might even bring another tank up. Actually, probably don't need to do that. I think I'll just leave that one where that is. Okay, let's go for it. So I'm going to go through the tree line. We're seeing a headquarters there. And we're seeing an anti-tank. Now that could be a problem. Let's see what we can. I'll just pause there for a second. We've still got 28 seconds to go in this phase. So we've got looks like we've got an anti-tank on the bridge itself, along with the headquarters. So they're sitting on the bridge, and our forces are now moving up. We do have the artillery is now moved off. They're not deployed, so we'll need to deploy them to be able to support the infantry that are going in. And we don't know what's on the other side here. There could be something in the dip that we're not aware of. Let's just see what actually happens with these vehicles as they come across. These are going to be in trouble from this group over through here, I think. Across that ridge line. Get you. Oh, they're firing at us. We're not seeing anything just yet. Once the infantry come off, we're being hit by machine gun. Yeah, no, we're being smashed here. Infantry is coming off. Alright, that got a bit intense at the end there, and it looks like there's more over here. So let's just go and review that one again and just watch it from this other angle. Nothing selected. So looks like we could be in trouble over this side. just skip until we get to them on the bridge. So when we come over, there's something else in here. And then all hell opens up in here because we couldn't see what was behind this ridgeline. So these guys are firing at us. Someone in there. Let's just press escape again. So we are being hit by small arms at this stage. Yeah, we've got gunners in through there, so machine guns. Some sort of Strela team back in that way as well. That's going to be bad for our forces there. And keep on going. Let's press escape. So we've still got 5 seconds to go. They're missing us, luckily. Now at this stage, the riflemen here are getting out of the vehicle, but will they be able to do anything? I don't know. So they're getting off. We did lose a unit there somewhere, I think. I thought we had a casualty in one of these. That rifle group has to get out of there. So they're aware of the different forces. There's another force back over here, another gunner. So we're sort of starting to now pick up the different groups. That was a rash decision to make. Alright, so what we need to now do is go to special. Actually, I'll just, don't think there's anything else that happened on this other side. So I'll just keep all them where they are, and we'll just operate on this little area here now. So with, yeah, so we're getting all sorts of different attacks coming in. Yeah, we did lose a unit there. Now, who was that? Was that in the driver there? Yeah, we've got drivers and gunners. Or loaders and drivers. So this one here has now lost its loader, but it's still got all of its infantry. Now the dismounting is going to be way too difficult, so let's just get them off here. Those guys, just get down into there, and in reality this one now has to stop, so backspace to that point, and then these guys just dismount and get into the tree line. Alright, so that will then give us better orders in through that other side. And they're not even aware of what's going on here at this stage, all the stuff that's going on around them. So they're going to be most likely going to be decimated in through this other side. Let's just go back to the to this guy here. The specials that we've got is we do need to deploy. So this is pause, hide, dismount, pop. It's not deployed. That should be. I thought there was a deploy. Let's dismount. They're where they are. I think if I just target. There's no line of sight there. There is there. Let's just target that area. And see how we go. So we'll end our turn there again. It's not going to go well. Oh God, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. We're losing men everywhere. That group's running. That's now lost morale. They've been wiped out. A couple of casualties in that group. And a lot of casualties there. This one's going to try to get away. Running over your men. They're now making it into the tree line. This is where the troops will do what they would do, like if they were real troops, like to a degree. It's actually quite interesting the way the game sort of models this. So we have been smashed here, absolutely smashed. That was not clever. I love this game. Hi, Allure, how you going? Yeah, so we're taking a lot of damage through here. The wheels have been hit down this other side. We're down to, we've still got a bit of a force there, but it's not really going to go well for us. Like you can see how many enemy there actually are on this side, which we sort of weren't, I wasn't expecting anything like that. God, there's so much in this game. Anyway, that's not much I can do with that one, to be honest. That's a major loss for us. This is a big problem. I'm looking at the time, guys. I'm actually going to have to get going fairly soon. So what I might do is I might actually play one more phase and just watch, like they'll get destroyed, and then I'll just surrender and we'll just watch and see what the end game summary actually is. But it's a pretty cool game. Like again, the troops are doing like they're running into trying to get into cover. This thing is automatically just trying to find its own cover. I didn't tell this thing to retreat, but it's trying to retreat as much as it can, and it's left all the other troops have now been destroyed and killed. So that was a really bad move that we actually did. So didn't really prepare for that one at all, and so there was a lot of forces in there that have completely ripped us apart. Let's just end our turn there and do that again. And these should all be wiped out as well. This one's going to try to escape. These guys they've got to the cover of the trees and are rattled, so that's their morale. That one there, it's only got the driver left. So they're sort of hiding in the tree line. There is smoke to stop all of these from coming through. There goes our little mortars. I should have been much more circumspect. That one made it away. It got out of there. Yeah, we're firing at those as well. Yeah, now we're being fired at. So these guys are still only got the 2 casualties. They are rattled, so they're not going to be able to be very effective with what they're actually then going and doing. If I go and surrender here, because I do have to get going, but if I if I just click on done and then go back into escape, the menus and surrender. At this point, it ends the game. If we do ceasefire, it can be sort of like the end of the game where you can have a chance to win. But in this case, when you surrender to the enemy, I'll just go yes. In fact, if I go ceasefire, I don't know if ceasefire will actually work. Ceasefire, the computer player will automatically accept and the battle will end. Okay, let's just do that. So in this case, so this was a after-action report. So the British Army major defeat into this other side, and so we were supposed to be assaulting this area where they were dug in a little bit. We failed to get the ground targets, and we also failed to get the points essentially, which is the points. And you can see down through there they've got all of the ground targets, but they still didn't do enough points damage in through that other side. So the points we only did 6 points of damage, which is not good. And you can see down there the difference in the way things sort of do work. Like they had 433 men. They were all okay. 11 of them were killed, and three were wounded. That's why we had so few points. We don't know how many tanks they actually had until we sort of get into it. We lost 2 of our armoured vehicles. We lost 7 men were wounded and 17 men were killed. And so we actually have like a big portion. Like that was like 10%, over 10% of our forces were casualties, which is not good. If we go and review the map, we can then go back and have a look and see, wow, this is what they had. So they had a lot of infantry all over the place. So that's what we would have had to deal with to take this one out, which, God, that would have been hard. That would have been so hard. Like, we even had some on the way sort of coming in through here. So there was groups hiding everywhere. They had troops all over the place. So they were just using purely infantry. There's no vehicles anywhere. It would be interesting to actually make it so it's armor versus armor. That would have actually made that a very, very different type of interaction. But the fact that it was just infantry, purely infantry, the whole way, yeah, very, very interesting to sort of see that, to see what they actually had. Didn't have as much down here as I thought they'd have. I thought it seemed like we got into an absolute, like, you know, hellscape. They did actually have like a full group of squads down this other side as well, like a rifle squad, and then they did actually have some Strela teams, some anti-tank teams, and a machine gun team there as well, I think. Oh, they actually did a couple of kills there. Got a little bit. Actually, that one's got the gunner there with the machine gun. More machine guns down this way as well. Wow, God, this was not going to end well, really. No matter what we did, it was going to be very, very tricky. Even in here, they had units all over the building. Having a bit of a look to see. So they had forces all over the place here. Even mortar teams on the top of the buildings. Headquarters in it as well. A forward observer there. What's that group there? That's a reconnaissance squad. Yeah, we wouldn't have got through here. Like there's even these were heavy mortars. So they've got heavy mortars there. They've got anti-tank guns. Now that's interesting. They couldn't bring that to bear against my guys. That was pretty too many trees in the way. So they weren't able to spot from that distance. But if we had brought tanks across there, that would have been really, really damaging. Then we've got the machine gunners back into there. Yeah, wow, that was that was a big, big force that we would have had to work our way through, which would have been very, very difficult. But I do have to get going, guys. So we've got Sci-Fi Snob saying mortars do get the time checks that they're sort of in charge. Okay, toothpick mode. I don't know what you mean by that. Sorry. Yeah, so if I just stop saying always rush, speed and violence. Well, it can work. Like you can actually sort of rush past, which we sort of almost did when we did that little incursion on the other side. We did get over the line before they really got organised to then sort of take us out. A lot of smoke was dropped in through there. But no, it's a pretty awesome little game just in terms of getting these little combats where the units will behave like real units. They do have morale. The morale drops, and different things that then happen with that as well. So Lou is saying, do I see your messages? Yes, I do. This is a so-called ambush. It was indeed. Anyway, guys, I do have to leave it there. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back again tomorrow. So as I said before, today is grand final day for me. So pretty big day. Hopefully, if Brisbane wins, I'll be happy tomorrow. If they don't, I won't be. Anyway, I'll catch you guys then. Thanks for watching.